Vaping is everywhere these days. It's marketed as the safe alternative to smoking, with fruity flavors, sleek devices, and flashy branding that makes it seem harmless, even cool. But behind the clouds of vapor is a disturbing truth that most people still don't know. There's a serious lung disease linked to vaping called popcorn lung, and it's not just some clickbait term. It's real. It's dangerous. And yes, it's been found in young, healthy people who thought vaping was no big deal. In today's video, we're exposing the hidden risks of vaping and the chemical that may be silently destroying your lungs with every puff. You'll learn what popcorn lung actually is, how it develops, and what the science really says about those flavored vape juices. Let's get into it. The name popcorn lung might sound ridiculous, but the condition is far from a joke. The medical term is bronchiolitis obliterans. It's a rare and serious disease that damages the smallest airways in the lungs, called bronchioles. Over time, these airways become scarred and narrowed, making it hard to breathe. Symptoms include chronic cough, shortness of breath, wheezing, and fatigue. And unlike a common cold or flu, it doesn't go away. So where does the term popcorn lung come from? Back in the early 2000s, a group of workers at a microwave popcorn factory started developing this strange lung condition. Researchers eventually discovered the cause: diacetyl, a buttery flavoring chemical used in popcorn production. When heated and inhaled, diacetyl caused permanent lung damage. The link was so strong that several lawsuits were filed, and many food manufacturers began removing it from their products. But here's where it gets scary. Diacetyl is still used today, in vape liquids. According to a 2015 study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, over 75% of flavored e-cigarettes and refill liquids tested positive for diacetyl, even in products labeled as diacetyl-free. This included popular flavors like cotton candy, vanilla, and tropical punch. The study was published in Environmental Health Perspectives, and the findings were clear. Diacetyl is widespread in vape products, especially the ones that appeal to younger users. The researchers didn't mince words. Inhaling diacetyl, they said, could pose a significant respiratory risk, especially because e-cigarette devices heat and aerosolize the liquid, sending the chemical deep into the lungs where it does the most damage. But diacetyl isn't the only concern. Another flavoring compound found in vape juice is 2,3-pentanedione, which is chemically similar to diacetyl and produces similar effects on lung tissue. A 2016 study published in Toxicology Reports found that repeated inhalation of this compound in animal models caused fibrosis and inflammation in the lungs, strongly mimicking early stages of bronchiolitis obliterans. So even if a vape product says it doesn't contain diacetyl, that doesn't mean you're in the clear. The lungs were never meant to inhale heated oils, synthetic flavors, and chemical solvents, yet that's exactly what vaping does. And here's the thing. Popcorn lung doesn't develop overnight. It's a slow process. You might feel fine today, maybe even for the next few years, but damage is accumulating every time you take a puff. Tiny tears, microscarring, chronic inflammation, and one day, breathing just won't feel as easy as it used to. In fact, a 2019 case reported in the Canadian Medical Association Journal described a 17-year-old male who developed severe bronchiolitis obliterans after just a few months of vaping. He ended up in the ICU on life support. Doctors had to insert tubes into his lungs and pump in steroids to keep his airways from collapsing. He survived, but with long-term lung damage. Let that sink in. A teenager, non-smoker, healthy before vaping, and now he'll be dealing with impaired lung function for the rest of his life. This is not an isolated incident. Another report from the CDC in 2020 documented over 2,800 cases of severe lung injury linked to vaping, with at least 68 deaths confirmed at the time. The condition was named EVALI, e-cigarette or vaping product use-associated lung injury. While EVALI isn't the same as popcorn lung, the connection is clear. Vaping can destroy your lungs in more ways than one. And the worst part? Most users don't even know what they're inhaling. A 2021 survey in JAMA Network Open found that over 60% of young vapers couldn't name a single ingredient in their vape juice. Many assumed it was just water vapor with some flavoring. But in reality, vape juice often contains propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, nicotine, heavy metals, and flavoring chemicals, many of which have been shown to cause inflammation, oxidative stress, and even DNA damage. So when people say it's just vapor, they're wrong. It's an aerosol of heated chemicals, some of which are known to cause permanent lung damage. Let's take a closer look at why vaping is marketed as safe in the first place, despite all this evidence to the contrary. The e-cigarette industry has exploded over the past decade, and with billions of dollars on the line, there's a massive incentive to keep users in the dark. Companies push the narrative that vaping is just a better alternative to smoking. And while it's true that e-cigarettes may contain fewer carcinogens than traditional cigarettes, that doesn't make them safe. According to a 2022 review in the Lancet Respiratory Medicine, e-cigarettes have been linked to increased airway resistance, inflammation, and lung tissue damage, even in people with no history of smoking. The study emphasized that vaping should not be considered harmless and warned of the long-term pulmonary risks, particularly among youth and non-smokers. And let's not forget about nicotine. Many vape products contain nicotine salts, a highly addictive form of nicotine that's easier to inhale and delivers a faster hit to the brain. This isn't just about physical addiction. It's about rewiring your brain chemistry. Nicotine impacts your dopamine system, hijacking the reward pathways and making it harder to feel satisfied without another puff. Over time, this not only builds dependence but also increases your stress baseline, disrupts sleep, and can contribute to anxiety and depression. That's not relief. It's a vicious cycle. And here's another twist. When you combine nicotine with flavorings like diacetyl, vanillin, or cinnamaldehyde, you're not just exposing your lungs to one toxin, you're exposing them to a toxic cocktail. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Physiology found that these compounds, when heated and mixed, can form new chemical byproducts, including formaldehyde and acrolein, both of which are classified as probable human carcinogens. So you're not just risking popcorn lung. You're risking long-term organ damage, cellular mutation, and a dramatically increased chance of chronic illness. And the scary part? There is no cure for popcorn lung. Once bronchioles are scarred and narrowed, there's no way to fully regenerate them. Treatments may help manage symptoms like inhaled steroids, oxygen therapy, or even lung transplants in extreme cases, but the damage is permanent. All this just to blow a few clouds of cotton candy vapor? Let's zoom out for a second. People vape for different reasons: curiosity, peer pressure, stress relief, or to quit smoking. But what's often missing from the conversation is the long-term cost. The decisions you make in your teens or 20s can have consequences that follow you for the rest of your life. And unlike cigarettes, which come with clear health warnings and decades of research, vaping is still in the early stages of scientific investigation. That means we don't even know all the risks yet. What we do know is already alarming, and it's enough to make anyone think twice. So, what can you do? If you vape and want to quit, good. You're not alone, and there are tools to help. Cognitive behavioral therapy, nicotine replacement without the flavors and chemicals, and support groups have all been shown to improve quit rates. If you're a parent, talk to your kids. They're being targeted by these companies. The fruity flavors, the sleek designs, the social media ads, it's all designed to pull them in and keep them hooked. And if you've never vaped, don't start. No buzz is worth lung damage. Popcorn lung isn't just a story from a popcorn factory. It's a real, preventable condition that's now being triggered by a product marketed as safe. Don't fall for the vapor cloud of lies. Your lungs were made for air, not for heated chemicals, not for synthetic butter flavoring, and definitely not for a lifetime of damage in exchange for a moment of relief. If this video opened your eyes, give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth, and don't forget to subscribe to Addicted to Health for more no-nonsense content that protects your mind, your body, and your future. Take a deep breath and keep it clean.